comfortable seat. Just take a moment to shift and move around a little bit. And then as you come to that tall spine, lengthening up through from tail to crown, let shoulders lift up and back. Let your eyes close. Take a couple deep breaths here to check in with whatever's showing up in your body for tension or stiffness. Just take a couple big breaths, letting yourself be present with whatever that is. And then connect hands together at heart center and gently press your palms together. Lift up and back with shoulders again. And then on your exhale, bow towards your heart. Full big breath. And then releasing your hands down, softly opening your eyes. And let's take our feet out in front of us here. So uncrossing your legs, take feet out wider than your mat. And I will mute you now. We have one more person who just popped on, so we'll mute. So feet wide, and then we're going to start a little bit of windshield wipering from a sitting position. There we go. Okay, so as we windshield wiper, if it feels better to you to be sitting directly on the floor instead of on something, you can be. But feet wide, hands come to prop you up, and then start to move side to side with your legs, just starting to work through some of the hips, some of the glute, maybe even a little bit of stretch through the quads. And take one more on each side. And then come on back up to center. And now soles of feet come together, knees open wide here, coming into a butterfly. And think of gentle so that you can sit tall, so that you can move your pelvis a little bit, belly forward. And then as you inhale and sit even taller, exhale, reach out through your thighs, out through your knees, toward the walls on either side of you. And then release that reach, and then reach again. And a couple more this way. Starting to work through some of the inner thighs. As you reach and release, just notice what it is that is activating, what it is that might be stretching. And now you can go ahead and give yourself a base with your left leg. So bend your left leg, right foot comes into your hands, and as you hold on to your foot with your hand, with your left hand, knee with your right hand, start to move a little side to side in this cradle or in this baby rocking motion. So take a couple big breaths. And as you take your breaths, sit just a little taller. Give your foot a flex, activating through the ankle and supporting the knee. And then release your foot down, give yourself a base with your right leg, hold on to your left foot and knee. Sitting tall, and then find that rocking motion again. And again, your left foot gets to be flexed to support the left ankle and the knee. Yeah. Good. And then we're going to switch sides again. So left leg becomes your base. Pick up your right leg, flex your foot. And so we're going to do a little bit of movement here. Your right leg becomes a half happy baby pose. As if you were laying down, your knee is aimed toward the wall behind you. You're holding on to your shin or your foot, or you can even have a strap around your foot here. Left hand comes to your side. And so as you create a little pull back with your hand, resist and push forward with your foot or your leg. And now as you lift up higher through your heart, start to extend your leg as long and as straight as your body is ready for. And now we're going to get a little bit more into the glute here. As you bend your knee, you're going to tap your foot to the floor on the left side. And you might tap your foot, you might bring it to a block, but it should give a little more length through the glute, maybe that outside edge of your leg. Now inhale, open it up and maybe stretch it long. And then exhale, bend your knee and cross it over. Inhale, open it up. And exhale, bend your knee and cross it over. Good. One more time this way. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, tap your foot. Good. And then come back into center here, releasing your foot. You can create that base with your right leg. Left leg comes into that happy baby, that half happy baby. So knee is aimed back, foot is aimed forward. You might hold your foot or your shin, but then use your right hand behind you to help you sit taller. Create a little resistance, pull back with your hand, push into your hand with your foot. Good. And then we'll begin a little bit of movement. So extend your leg into that hamstring stretch, lengthen your spine. And then bend your knee and find that reach around to the right side to tap your foot. Then inhale, open it up, extend. And exhale, tap it to the other side. Good. Couple more this way, inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Good. One more time. Inhale, lengthen and extend. Exhale, wrap it around, tap your foot. And then come back into center. And one more time, butterfly here, soles of feet together. And this time, if it's comfortable, you can take peace fingers around your big toes, or you can always bring fingertips behind you to help you sit taller. Take a big inhale and grow longer through your spine. Exhale, reach out through your knees and thighs. Good. And now shifting your way onto your hands and knees. And from your hands and knees, set yourself up, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. And now as you set yourself up, start to push with your hands into the ground to expand into the upper back. And then reach back with your right leg, lifting your foot up off the ground, turn open with your hip. Take a big deep breath. Maybe bend your knee and push your heel toward the left side. Next, exhale, step right foot in between your hands. If you have blocks, you're welcome to use them, but work your back knee back as far as you need so you have a little longer stretch through your back thigh. Now we'll get a little bit more into opening the hips. So walk hands to the inside. Heel toe your right foot out to the right, so knee and toes are aimed in the same direction. And then from this place, you're lifting up with the front part of your right foot. And now opening and closing with your leg here. And as you open and close, you're on the pivot point of your heel to help that happen. But think of the rotation happening all the way at the hip socket. And then opening it up as much as your body is ready for it. And now it's going to be a little forward and back movement here through the hips. Good. Okay. And now back into center with your foot. Either side of your foot with your hands. And as you extend your heart forward here, now we'll take a little spinal twist. So left hand can be on a block or the floor on the outside edge of your mat. Right hand to your knees. You start to turn your belly and your heart to the right side. Put both shoulder blades on your back. Take a full, big, deep breath. Good. And then go ahead and step back into a hands and knees position. Wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Pause, and as you root down with your hands, expand into the upper back. And then inhale, stretch the left leg back. Turn open with your hip. Bend your knee and push your heel toward the right side. Deep breath. And now stepping left foot forward in between your hands. Again, you can always have blocks here. Work your back knee back as far as you need, getting that longer stretch through your back thigh. Lengthen your heart forward. Full big breath right here. And then work your hands to the inside. We're heel toeing our left foot out to the left, so your knee and toes are off at the same angle with each other. And then lift up with the front part of your foot. So you have the pivot point of your left heel, and then start to open and close your knee. As you open and close the knee, just notice for yourself if there's any difference with where or how far this side can go. Not trying to make it match the other side. Just notice what's there. Then as you open it up, keeping it open, you'll now move forward and back with your hips. Had a few folks say that this is a very relieving thing for the sciatic nerve. In general, though, that mobility through the hips is super helpful. Good, now come on back into center, heel toe your foot back in, and now you're taking left hand to a block of the floor on the edge of your mat, right hand to your knee as you start to turn your belly and your heart toward the left side. Again, shoulder blades engage here. As you exhale and draw your low ribs in, maybe you're able to twist just a tiny bit more. Then exhaling, both hands come back down to your blocks. Go ahead and step back to hands and knees. And now we'll shift hips back to heels as far as your body needs to go, taking that child's pose. First one for our practice tonight. Shift your hips a little side to side, maybe inch your fingertips a little further forward. Take a big breath and check out what's happening for you. And then gently press yourself up to your seat. And we're going to come down to sitting bones. And we'll take another hip stretch. This one gets quite nicely, I think, into the SI joint, the outer hip, the IT band sometimes. So right leg, bring your thigh right up to the right side of your mat. And then bring your shin parallel to the front of your mat. Left leg comes to the side, straight out to the left, and then your shin parallel to the left side of your mat. Yeah, okay. So now, as you press fingertips into the ground and lift up tall, you're gonna notice what's going on for you. This can be an uncomfortable position to be sitting in. So if staying tall right here is best, then stay right here. You might walk yourself forward over your leg. You might take something underneath your hands. You might take a prop underneath the leg if that's better for your body. Take a big deep breath here and notice what's present. As you take some breaths here, if you find that after taking a few breaths, your body is able to settle a little bit, then you might come a little bit lower down onto your elbows. You might work out to resting against your leg, head coming down, or you might stay up tall, stay up a little higher. Find what's right in your body today. Two more really big breaths right here. And then gently press yourself back upright, and we'll switch sides. And I like to use the edge of my mat as my guide. So all the way over to the left side for your left hip. Your thighs right against the side of your mat, and then your shin gets to be as parallel as it feels okay in your body with the front of your mat. Right leg out to the right side, shin parallel to the side of your mat. Then as you press fingertips down, we'll lift up through your heart, and then hinge and fold over your front leg. And again, you can always place something underneath your elbows or underneath your hands. Take some big breaths. Recognize for yourself how this side feels, what's showing up in your body today. Take a couple more big, deep breaths right here, and notice if you're able to shift a little further or if you need to come out of it a little ways. And then gently bring yourself all the way back upright. And now we're going to bring a pillow or bolster, or it can be a rolled up blanket if you want, to the front of your mat, and we'll get a little bit more into the IT band. Sitting so that you're facing the right side. And now as you extend your left leg out to the right, extend your right leg back behind you. And then you're going to use your hands on the floor to help you turn. And as you turn, you're trying to turn a little bit more onto the outside edge of your leg. And from that place, your pillow or bolster or whatever you're using is there for you to rest over. As you come to rest over it, if you find that this is a lot of sensation, then maybe bend one or both knees. Big, full, deep breaths that enable you to sense and notice what's showing up for you. And take 2 more breaths on this side. Then use your hands to support you to bring your torso back upright. And bend your knees and turn to face the other way. And now, facing the left side, it's your right leg that reaches across to the left. Left leg reaches back behind you. And then turn yourself, and as you do so, try to roll over to the outside edge of your leg. And then move your bolster to where you need it to be to rest. And again, if you find that that's a lot of sensation, then maybe bend one or both knees. Or maybe bring yourself up a little higher. Sometimes up a little higher actually makes you rock over your hip a little bit more. So if it's sensational, that might not be the most comfortable. Again, recognize for yourself how this side feels. You have a few more deep breaths. Then use your hands to support you to rise back up with your torso. And bending both knees, you can set your bolster aside. We're going to come down onto our backs. And from your back, make sure that you have access to all your props. And as you lay down onto your back, pause for a moment with knees drawing in toward your chest. You might keep them wide, you might keep them narrow, but then do a little bit of rocking. As you rock, think of allowing your back body to lengthen. I like to think of lifting one side and moving my sitting bone further away, and then lifting the other side and moving the sitting bone. And now left foot on the ground, knee is bent. Cross right ankle over your left knee. So you have a figure 4 pose here. Flex your right foot, and then your choice. You can keep your foot on the ground, left foot on the ground, or you can pick your legs up towards your body. And as you pick your legs up, or as you decide to keep your foot on the ground, rock a little side to side again. And that can be done either way. You're just rocking from one side of your foot to the other if your foot's on the ground. And now from that place, allow the rock to happen a little bit over to the left side so that the right hip is lifted. And then you're going to try to reach your right sitting bone out to the right and forward toward the foot of your mat. A little stretch for the piriformis here. That little muscle underneath all the glutes can be a big problem causer if it's tight. Be a part of why you might feel something along your sciatic nerve or even your SI joint. Lots of things that it can do. Let's take a couple big breaths. And then come on back up to center and set both feet on the ground. Walk feet out wider than your mat. Nice and wide with your knees, and then drop knees side to side so you have a little windshield wipering action happening. And this, if you allow the opposite hip to lift, sometimes helps get into that pocket muscle or even into the psoas sometimes. One more time on each side. And then we're coming back into center. Walk your feet back into hip distance and cross left ankle over your right knee. Give your foot a flex, and then you decide foot stays on the ground or lift your legs up toward your torso. Whichever feels the best, and then rock a little side to side, letting that length happen again through the low back. And then find the rock over to the right side so that your left hip lifts. And then reach out to the left with your left sitting bone and forward toward the foot of your mat. One more big breath this way. Then inhale back to center and set both feet on the ground. And drop knees in together to touch this time. Hands come to your upper thighs. You're right up at your hip creases. And give your thigh bones a push so that your low back is lifting just a little bit, and then start a little movement through your pelvis. So make a little pivot or a rock forward and back, or maybe a rock side to side. And now lengthen your left leg all the way out against the ground. Right knee draws in toward your chest, and then draw your right knee over to the left side. And from this place, in this spinal twist, you're welcome to prop your knee up if you want to. You can stay with this bent knee if you want, or you can extend your right leg out toward the left. So you can take that lengthening if you want. This is where I like to put something underneath my calf muscles. You're welcome to do that. And then the left hand can always give your upper thigh a little push away from you to create that space from hip to armpit. Full, big, deep breath. Or you can take your fingertips and do a little massage up and down the outside edge of your leg where the IT band is. Do that whether your knee is bent or whether your leg is straight. And now bend your knee to draw your leg back into center. Set your left foot down, or set your right foot down rather. Draw your left knee in. And then you can extend your right leg all the way out against the ground if you'd like to. Take that spinal twist with your knee drawing over to the right side. And then it's your choice again. If you'd like, you can lengthen your left leg out to the right so it's long and straight, or as straight as it's comfortable. As you take those couple of breaths, if you want, you can take your right hand to your upper thigh and try to roll your thigh bone away from you. Or if you would like, you can take fingertips to the outside edge of your left leg and give a little massage. Maybe get into the IT band, the glutes, or the SI joint. And then bend your knee to come back into center and extend both legs out long and straight against the ground if that's comfortable. If you'd like, you can also reach your arms up overhead, taking a full body stretch here, reaching through your heels, reaching through your fingertips. Take a deep breath. And then settle into a really comfortable resting place for yourself. Placing a bolster underneath your knees if you want. Feel free to take whatever variation of that rest feels good to your body. And take some big breaths. Bring awareness back to your breath. Gently add some movement into fingers and toes. And as you're ready to, you can bend your knees and roll over to your side. And gently press yourself back up to your seat using as little strength as possible. And bringing hands to connect at heart center, eyes closed, take a moment for a full breath here. Have a very peaceful and beautiful rest of your evening. Namaste.